Greetings to all my viewers. I'm Chrissy Seaton, and today's video I'm going to talk to you about children's books, in particular books suitable for Noahide children. Now, I recently had a Zoom meeting with a delightful couple. It was Rabbi Yerachmiel Altman and his wife, Mrs. Altman. And I have to say, before I even begin getting into the depths of this video, it was one of the most delightful experiences of my life. I came away feeling like I had been injected with enthusiasm and ideas, and just one of those extremely extraordinary experiences where you feel you're a better person for having been exposed to these two delightful people. We had lots of laughs. It was full of warmth and knowledge that they imparted. And to you both, I thank you deeply from my heart for allowing me to be part of your life, of your day, as we went through some questions, etc. for this video. So let me move along. Now, Rabbi Altman has a wonderful philosophy along with his wife. There's never a dull moment in their household, and they basically have open house to people, both Jews and Gentiles alike. They work very closely with people in their area where they live, and they share their home on frequent occasions, particularly on their Sabbath, and of course they are always available to people. They are cheerful people, they are positive people, they are warm and friendly, the sort of people that one wants to be exposed to. So again, I thank you, Rabbi and Mrs. Altman, for assisting me in being able to do this video. Now, Rabbi Altman has written several books, particularly in relation to children, and certainly those of Gentile children, Noahides. And most of you out there would know that there is a shortage of this sort of literature for our Noahide children. So that's really what I want to highlight today in this video. And to prepare this, I had to ask Rabbi Altman some questions, and he was extremely helpful. And so I'm going to try and stick to the script a bit, because I tend to wander off occasionally when I get excited about something and I think, oh, I missed that bit, I meant to say that. So I'm going to, if I look to be glancing at my notes here, I'm looking at my screen where I have some pertinent notes I need to stick to. So my first interest was asking Rabbi Altman when he first developed this love and ability to be able to write, and he writes in rhyme, and I'm going to come to that in a moment. I'm going to get to that. And so he said he's been writing in poetic form since his high school and college days. So this has been a lifelong passion and ability for him. And he wrote things like trip software and things like that, not religious books all the time. And he discovered that if you wrote things in rhyme, meaning, a catchy rhythm, a jaunty line, then people were more inclined, A, to read it to the end, and B, remember it. And do you know, I can still how many of you, like me, can still remember all your little nursery rhymes you learnt as a child? Little Bo Peep and Humpty Dumpty and all those. They stick in our mind forever. So I think Rabbi Altman was on a winner right from the start there. and it's proven to be so. And he wrote, his very first book was an extremely important and well-received book. And that was a book about diabetes for young children. And again, written in rhyme, had beautiful illustrations, etc. And it was called I Can Help Take Care of Me. Now, he published that in March 2016. And that is available still. Now, there will be links in the description box below where you'll be able to access and read more about these books. So this book was written for all children. It was not to do with any religious affiliation at all. It was a book for young children with diabetes, and it's been a marvellous success, and I thank you, Rabbi Altman, and I'm sure there are many parents of diabetic young children out there that share my gratitude to you. I asked him what moved him along and inspired him to write about the Noahide laws, again in the framework of young people, and he said he was asked by Avram Frank, who runs the Moment of Silence program, this is in the United States, to write a book for children and that follow the Sheva Mitzvah B'nai Noah, in other words, the 7 Noahide laws. And he had also noted that how well received his book on diabetes for children was, and so he felt he should encourage Rabbi Altman to spread his wings further, and thank you so much, he has. So there are Torah subjects for young children, particularly Gentile children. There aren't a lot available for Noahide children, and I think we should be aware of that. And so if any aspiring young authors are out there, I say to you, sit down and start thinking about writing a book. Now, I also wanted to know what keeps him so motivated and upbeat to keep going. And he said that the longer he's worked with the Noahide community, the more he realises that great necessity for an accuracy of books, an accuracy of background, not only in books but in videos and games, etc. And he is working, I believe, on some sort of an electronic game for Noahide children. So, thumbs up again. Now, and of course, those books that he produces for Noahide children specifically are applicable for all Gentile children in that particular age group. So, I just wanted to make that clear. I also understood that he would have had some motivation, etc., and some influences in his life. And he said that there were a combination of 3 people, and firstly it was his father of blessed memory, and then there was Rabbi Lizerwoski, and also the Lubavitch Rebbe, which most of you will know who that is. So these 3 people helped shape and influence his pathways. An influence, definitely. I also wanted to know, naturally, Sticky Beaking, what other books are in the hotline, you know, what's in progress and we can look forward to. And he said that he's considered doing another adult version of these books, more like a parent teacher guide. And I think this is an excellent idea as well, because not all parents are teachers, although we are primarily the very first teacher our child is exposed to, but we as parents need a little bit of assistance there. So this is what is in the pipeline, and it gives deeper explanation and ideas for each page that the parent or teacher can expand on. This would serve, he says, to help parents and teachers understand and explain the concepts in the book, as well as serving as a basic text for the Sheva Mitzvah B'nai Noah. I just quoted that. And that, of course, applies for adults and teens as well. He said he's also been thinking about this electronic game, which I mentioned before, and also he's working on a video which would include the ideas from the books, a book possibly using the text of the book as a guide to the dialogue. So we're looking forward to some upcoming things from Rabbi Altman. And I also was interested to find out from him, because he has children, of course. My question was, what would you say to young parents today about family values? And so he gave me a really good answer, and I've highlighted some things on these notes. And his very first suggestion was, you've got to start from a solid foundation. So in other words, you can't be on rocky ground when you start this. You've got to know what you want to say and say what you mean. And his example is that if you have a very tall building like a skyscraper, if it doesn't have solid foundations underneath it, then it's not going to stand the test of time. In fact, it's not going to stand very well at all. So like that, we as parents, as adults, need to have that basic foundation. And he said that if you want to have responsible children who are going to grow into responsible and respectable adults, they must be taught that solid moral code of conduct, which are based on the teachings from the Torah for all nations. And again, we get back to the 7 Noahide laws. They're the 7 fundamental rocks, foundations that we build harmonious relationships, not only within our own family and community, but with the rest of the world. And I couldn't agree more with Rabbi. I think the other thing that I found interesting, and I can relate to this, he says that children need to understand there is an eye that sees and an ear that hears. And, I recall, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, when I was a small child, you never went to bed without saying your prayers. And, the age-old phrase my parents used was, God sees everything you do and hears everything you do. You can't hide under the bed. So true. It's no good a child saying, well, if I do this, no one will see it, or no one will hear what I'm saying. Well, no human person might. You might be lucky and escape that, but God knows. God knows every tittle of every day of your life. Think about it. Thinking about the moral absence that's so prevalent in today's society, I'm quoting Rabbi Altman's words here, it is fundamentally important to start children with a solid foundation of knowledge of where they really come from and who is really in charge. God knows, sees, hears everything. So, he's saying things that common sense should tell us, but sometimes we need to understand that raising a moral, responsible community starts with us in our home as parents, and grandparents too play a big role in this. Now, moving along, I wanted to know sort of about the books that he's already written and are available for purchase. And these are in specifics to Noahide children. And so the Noahide books are called The 7 Laws of Noah, God's Plan for Living a Good Life, Noahide children. Who is in charge? Again, for Noahide children. And Who is really in charge? And that book is actually for Jewish children. But as I have explained, there will be more coming out. Now, I want to show some of you, this was the first book I purchased, the first edition. It's the 7 Laws of Noah. Some of you probably already have this. It's been out for a while. Now, This is the second edition of that book I've just showed you. And it's beautiful. Look, it's beautiful size. It's not too small. It's got lovely colour pictures inside. The pages are so smooth and lovely to touch. And the print, see the size of the print? And it's an easy font for children to read. I understand this because I've been looking into fonts that are easy to read. And this one is excellent to read. Now, it has an index. It has a little introduction and dedication. And I'm just going, it has some photos and things. It's just a beautiful, appealing book. And I want to read a few samples out of this book to you, so you get an indication of the rhythm and the movement, you know, the style, and how it appeals not only to the children but appeals to adults too. And so this is on page 8 here, and I'll read it. This page here. It says, "Long ago there lived a man. Noah was his name. He was a righteous person, while others fought and had no shame." See the rhyming? Then I'll move over to another page. Again, it's about Noah. It says, "God decided he would flood the world to clean it up completely. After Noah would build a boat called an ark to save all kinds of animals and his family." Beautiful, isn't it? And there's a picture of Noah following the plans. I'm just skipping over our ear tags. Now, I'm going to read these 2 pages because I thought this was important. It's called, on page 19 and 20, it's called "When Something is Broken." When something is broken, it can no longer be used. When we care for our world, everything is renewed. Sometimes we fix objects like a plane's broken wing, but fixing your friendship is greater than anything. Repairing the world, people and things, is what God wants us to do, and when we've completed the repair, then we will be happy too. This is how we'll bring perfection to the world that we must do. Now let's explore the 7 rules that God gave us to follow through. And then, of course, it goes on and talks about each of the commandments. It goes through them, explains them in rhyme again, and it comes over, and there's lots of photos, just beautiful. It's not just a picture book that's engaging for children to look at the images, but that rhythm, that jaunty, upbeat way of absorbing the words, I think is so important, so appropriate. And so it goes on. Oh, here's one. It says, this is just about the 5th commandment, which of course is do not steal. The 5th commandment to Noah is not taking what someone owns, whether it's clothes, a gift, a toy, or yummy ice cream cones. God gives to each person things that he may need. Something stolen from anyone can't be used to do a good deed. Now, those 2 lines are so important. And I remember my father saying to me, you know, when you take something from someone, you can never turn that into good. Meaning even it may be hurting someone's feelings, injuring them, etc., like saying nasty things to them. You can never, what you've gained from that, be it making yourself feel good, it can never be used to benefit anything. So, wise words, aren't they? Very important. So what they're saying, you know, for an example, if you go and steal money for someone, that money will never turn to good, no matter what you do with it. It goes on and talks about charity, helping those who are in need. And this says here, Being kind to others when they're poor, as you can tell, leads us to be kind and generous, helping hungry people to eat well. We should give charity freely, be quick to do this very good deed. Joining with God to care for all life means helping those in need. So these are all so age appropriate to young people. And it goes on. It says here, this is another one. Don't be jealous. Don't want to take other people's things. And here we see, the age-old story, kids fighting over, I want the toy and the other child wants it. It says the things your friend has may be nice, colourful and fun, but since they're not yours, you shouldn't take even one. So I think by now you're sort of getting the gist of how this book rolls along. And as I said, it's beautiful. Even the paper's beautiful. It's a really tactile book in many ways. The cover, and then of course it comes over here, and at the back you have a whole list of the 7 Noahide laws and how a brief explanation and what they are. Again, suitable for young children to understand. And it goes on further, and it says things like, recognising God in the world, thanking for good, praying for what we need, honour and respecting our parents, helping those in need, don't be jealous of someone, being kind, don't hurt other people's feelings, etc. And these are all things that children need to be told about. Now, on the back here, there's a really good recommended resource page with some websites, etc., some of which you may all know. AskNoah.org's on there, Institute, Ask Noah International, etc., and some other books and links, etc. So this is, and of course there's dedications and blessings, and there's endorsements. And I actually wrote an endorsement for this book some time ago. I'll read it. The 7 Laws of Noah is a worthy addition for any family. The rhythm of words and beautiful illustrations make the message of this book an engaging experience for both young and old. Congratulations to Rabbi Yerachmiel Altman for completing such excellent work. And I meant that sincerely. So I 100% endorse this book. It's just, look, any Gentile child or family will benefit from having a copy of this book in your home. Excellent gift for grandmas and grandpas to give their Gentile grandchildren. So please consider going into the description box below, and you will find links where you can access these books. And also, Rabbi Altman has suggested that anyone who wants to buy 3 or more copies. Now, just for example, perhaps there's a play group or a small community wanted to buy 3 or more of any of these books. So I've only just been showing you and highlighting one, the second edition of this, but there are others there as well. That to contact him directly, because I believe there would be special rates for that. So certainly, if you are the grandparent or parent of a young diabetic child, I think you really need to consider getting a copy of that book. Or if you would like something like the copy of the one I showed you, and you might have a community group of mothers and children that meet, and you want some sort of text that's based on teaching suitable for small Gentile children, then I suggest you avail yourself of that. Now, in the description box below, there will be Rabbi Altman's email, that if you do wish to ask him more about the books or order them or any special requests, please email him in the where I've placed his email in the description box below. He's a very approachable and extremely helpful man. And I really do think that it fills a big gap for us with our young children. I know when this first edition came out, my youngest grandson, he loved it. I think he read a couple of pages in a video for Rabbi Altman. He's sort of outgrown this one now. He's a teenager now, he's 14. So I'm struggling to find, age-appropriate things for him now, But many thanks to you, Rabbi Altman and Mrs. Altman, for being so gracious and allowing me to really be in your home via Zoom. We had over an hour of communication and was thoroughly enjoyable. I came away a much better person. And thank you, Rabbi Altman, for the wonderful work you are doing to help Noahide parents and children. And I know Mrs. Altman supports you, and I thank you as well. I'm sure it's a joint effort in many ways that we probably don't understand. So, it's time to think about ordering some books. Again, these rhyming books are just a delight. You get in the rhythm and the children can sway to the rhythm of it. You can do so many things with rhyming books for children of that age. You could pantomime, use it as a base for a pantomime for them. You're only limited by your imagination as a parent or teacher. You just sometimes need a book like this to start a project. It gives you the foundation. Imagine what a lovely little end of school pantomime this would be. Think about it. Let me know if you do anything with it. In the meantime, go to the description box below for further details in relation to these books and Rabbi Altman. Please take care and God bless.